My topic today is intercropping. I just focus on below ground root interactions and agriculture sustainability and practical application of farms as Wopka just introduced. I will show some of our recently extension work on the intercropping to farmers. So today I would like to just have several parts in this lecture because I think that there are lots of talk about intercropping in this course. So I do not go to the how to definition of intercropping. Just show some. Firstly, I just show some kind of intercropping in China. And secondly, I would like to show some root interaction and the resources utilization. And thirdly, for productivity and stability and soil fertility, that's relative to sustainability. So finally, I would like to have show some practical application of farms in China. That is all of the part of this lecture. So firstly, I'd like to show this picture. I think most of them is family with the picture. Also, I think Joachim and Walker also visited this area. There are various intercropping practices by farmers in irrigated area along Yellow River. You can see the upside. They are very dry mountain over there because no precipitation over there. Along the Yellow River, farmers use Yellow River's water to irrigate the farm. So they have a very limited arable land. So they very like to use intercropping in that area. Also, this is soybean maize intercropping Hebei province. That is North China plain. You can see 2 rows of maize and 4 rows of soybean intercropping. 2 crops grow very well. There are also some different kind of legumes and cereals intercropping, such as wheat soybean intercropping in Gansu province, and wheat faba bean intercropping in also Gansu province, and millet peanut intercropping in Liaoning province, and maize faba bean intercropping in Gansu province. That system is has been studied well in our previous studies in past decades. There are lots of kind of intercropping. If you are interested in that, I think you can read the paper, also a chapter from Encyclopedia of Biodiversity, 2nd edition and 3rd edition. We have lots of picture in that chapter of the book. That is intercropping China. Next, I would like to show some root interaction and resources utilization. Before go to the root interaction, I would like to show you some picture like this. That is also famous pictures we took in northwest part of China in our experiment station. We grow maize with wheat, neighbor with wheat, and also grow the same cultivar of maize with faba bean. You can see when the maize associated with the wheat, that is grow much less. But if the maize grow with faba B, the maize grow much better compared to middle row of the maize and much higher than, much better than the maize associated with wheat. So in past decades, we want to know what happened below ground. We worked on the wheat and the maize system and faba bean and the maize system. But today I just show some result from maize and the faba bean intercropping system, because that is interspecific facilitation between maize and the faba bean on below ground. So because we want to know what happened below ground, so we use this kind of root barrier in field. We use a plastic sheet barrier. That means no root interaction between two crops below ground. Also, we use a nylon mesh barrier. That is the nylon mesh barrier permitted the water and the nutrients and root exudates exchange between two crops, but do not permit the root intermingling. So that means just has a interspecific rhizosphere effect. If there's no root barrier, that I think that is below ground, above ground interaction completely. So that means interspecific rhizosphere effect plus spatial effect. What's the result? We firstly we measured the phosphorus uptake. We found that interspecific root interaction enhanced phosphorus uptake by maize. You can see the root interaction increase the phosphorus uptake by maize, but do not influence phosphorus uptake by faba bean. And finally, increase phosphorus uptake by the intercropping. So what we interested, why? What's the mechanism behind the facilitation between faba bean and maize, the intercropping, the faba bean and maize? So we conduct a greenhouse experiment like this. You can see we added some different forms of phosphorus, like iron phosphorus and alumina phosphorus. Both of them is insoluble phosphorus. Also, we added some calcium phosphorus, that is a soluble phosphorus. We also use a different root barrier like this mesh barrier and null barrier or solid barrier. You can see the maize, if it's associated with faba bean with mesh barrier, as well as null barrier, the maize grow much better than the maize associated without root interaction. That means a solid barrier. So that means root interactions increase growth of maize under iron phosphorus as well as alumina phosphorus like this. Also insoluble phosphorus similar is observed in the same. So we measured phosphorus uptake by faba bean and maize in different root barrier. We found the root interaction significant increase phosphorus uptake by mass or average for all phosphorus sources compared to uptake without root-root reactions. The black one is a non-rotate reaction. First, this one is a solid barrier without root-root reactions. Phosphorus uptake by mass with a rhizosphere connection, that means a mesh barrier, was a 30% of greater than that without root-root interaction, solid barrier, without any phosphorus uptake addition. 160% greater with iron phosphorus like this, and 56% greater with alumina phosphorus, and 12% with soluble phosphorus like this. There was no significant difference in phosphorus uptake by FABA-B between the mesh barrier and the solid barrier. The result indicates FABA-B facilitated phosphorus uptake by mass. We were interested in what's the mechanism behind the facilitation of phosphorus uptake. Use a greenhouse experiment. We use a agar-germ film plus pH indicator technique to determine the rhizosphere acidification of the different species. We found that FABA-B acidifies its rhizosphere while protein exudating from roots, whereas mass did not. So, as we all of us know, the rhizosphere acidification can mobilize insoluble phosphorus. So that explained why FABA-B can use insoluble phosphorus, but mass cannot. We also measured the some organic acids concentration in rhizosphere for different species. We found the malate and citrate concentration in rhizosphere soil of FABA-B is much higher than those of soybean and maize. So because organic acid also can chelate the alumina and the iron that can release the phosphorus from the insoluble chemicals. So far we can explain the facilitation between phosphorus mobilized species and non-phosphorus mobilized species in intercropping. Phosphorus mobilized species can utilize severely soluble phosphorus, which result from greater exudation of organic acids and greater rhizosphere acidification. Enhanced phosphorus acquisition of non-phosphorus mobilized species was derived from root-root interaction from neighboring phosphorus mobilized species, which mobilize the insoluble phosphorus from soils. So that's for phosphorus. So we also interested in nitrogen because nitrogen also is a very important nutrient for plant growth. So we also use the same experiment design to determine the nitrogen utilization. From this result, you also can see this direction plastic sheet non-rotate reaction, partial rotate reaction, and completely rotate reaction. Along this direction, both crops nitrogen acquisition was increased with increase of rotate reactions. We also interested why. So I think that is we did a lot of experiments in field and greenhouse. I do not go to the details, but I would like to summarize here. So efficient nitrogen use, that is first the mechanism is zeros compacted soil mineral nitrogen, which alleviated soil nitrogen inhibitory effect or nitrogen fixation of legumes and leads to over-yielding of cereals. This process is one of key processes by which intercropping increases nitrogen fixation, acquire high yield, and improve nitrogen use efficiency. But after that, we also found some facilitation driven by signal in root-to-root communications in intercrop system. We use we cultivated faba bean, maize, or wheat in sets with a nutrition solution. We collect the root eudates for 2 hours in sterilized water. So we added some this cereals root eudating to 2 layers of pot experiment solution and sets cultivated faba bean. We put the root eudating into this 2 layers pot experiment like this. We found the nodulation in treatment with faba beans with maize root eudating addition. We found the nodulation of faba bean in this root eudating maize root eudating treatment is much higher than others. So only added root eudating of maize facilitated the nodulation of faba bean. So what's the key components of the root eudating of maize influence the processes? So we did a lot of experiments. I think that is several years exploration. Finally we found the genistein, that is a kind of flavonoids, may act as a key signaling promoting nodulation of intercropping faba bean by maize, but do not by wheat or barley. This is a very when the genistein concentration in solution of maize and faba bean is much higher than others, with maize alone and faba bean alone. So also we measured some relative genes expressions relative to nitrogen nodulation and nitrogen fixation. We found this one is black one is treatment with maize root eudating. Faba bean's root has a much higher relative gene expresses levels compared to without faba bean without maize root eudating. So we have some summarize about maize root dating, how to use, how to influence these genes express. So for another mechanism, we think the maize promotes the nitrogen fixation of fiber B while belong ground communications in the intercropping. Maize root exudates contains significant flavonoids and promoted flavonoids synthesis in fiber B. Therefore, triggering nodulation with the evolved of hormones signaling and stimulated nitrogen fixation will enhance the activity of proteins involved in nitrogen fixation at the gene expression and the physiological level. That result published in PNAS in 2016. So that's about the root interaction on nitrogen and phosphorus influence. So what happens in the real world? How complex root interaction influence agriculture sustainability? We conduct a long-term field experiment in northwest part of China in a very old oasis like this here in Wubi City. That's a very old oasis. Therefore, soil fertility is much higher. I think Wopka de Yohom also visited there several times. Here we have two experiments that is a little bit higher soil fertility. And another experiment here is moderately fertile soil that reclaimed about 20 years before our experiment conducted. And a very poor soil. This is a really newly reclaimed desert soil. So soil organic matter only 6.6 gram per kilogram. So very poor soil. So also soil nitrogen or also phosphorus and available potassium also varied greatly. So in different, we conduct an experiment like this. Yeah, I would like to go details about the experiment design. In the first experiment, I think there are some 3 monocultures of wheat, maize, and faba bean, 4 crops rotations, 6 intercropping, and 3 replicates, and totally 39 plots, and also another 2 experiments, the same experiment design in fertile soil, moderated fertile soil, 3 phosphorus applications, 5 crop monocultures, and 4 intercropping, 3 replicates, and 2 sites, 81 plants each site. Another fourth experiment is a 2 rhizosphere treatment and 5 nitrogen application, 3 crop system, 2 monoculture, and 1 intercropping, and 3 replicate. So what result? We use this totally about 46 years, and for I think we have many crop combination. We found average yield across all 4 experiments, and all 6 crop combination was 22% or greater in intercrop system than in monoculture of the same crops. Across all 4 experiments and all crop combination, intercropping is a blue one. And the monoculture is the red one. Intercropping increased by average 2.52% per year, but the monoculture yield of this same crop increased by only 1.67 per year. This result showed that yield benefit of intercropping was not just sustainable, but also increasing. So we also found there are very higher year-to-year temporal stability of yields. Still use full field long-term experiment that we found that this one is intercropping in blue and monoculture in red. So you can see all of average temporal stability of productivity in intercropping is higher than monoculture regardless experiment site and crop combination. So intercropping can stabilize the grain yield over time, especially compared to monoculture of legume. Also improved soil fertility. We found that intercropping can increase abundance of large soil aggregates. This intercropping, red with monoculture in all of experiment sites. The more than 2 millimeters large aggregate is in intercropping is higher than monoculture. We also found that some in fertile soil nitrogen and carbon is maintained in intercropping compared to monoculture, but in poor soil, for example, in newly reclaimed desert soil, the carbon and nitrogen in soil in intercropping is higher than monoculture. Also found that there are better net profit for farmers by intercropping. I would like to do not go to the detail about that. Finally, I would like to give some example about a practical application. Firstly, I think in China, we should challenge is labor shortage in countryside, because young people go to city, got a job. So in the countryside, there's no such sufficient labor. So intercropping decreased. However, if we want to extension the intercropping to farmers, we must have a solution about the mechanization of intercropping. In order to use modernization machinery to intercropping, we must change a strip from a narrow strip to a wider strip intercropping. As you know, if we change the wider strip intercropping compared to narrow strip, probably the yield advantage decreased. So we must how to say that, compress that by machinery and intercropping yield advantage. So we adapt the crop row space and the density of the intercropping to adapt the existing machinery. Like the picture showed, narrow, we compared to a wide strip intercropping in last year. This year we conduct a field experiment. We would like to know if we extended the intercropping to wider strip from narrow strip, how much the yield advantage reduced. So we conduct this experiment. We found actually if for example, for 2 meters wheat, 2 meters maize, wider intercropping, there are still some yield advantage compared to narrow one that is reduced, but still more than a yield advantage. For example, for lead equivalent ratio, still more than 1. It's about 1.1, something like that. The narrow strip intercropping has 1.3, 1.4 lead equivalent ratio, something like that. So I think that we will go to that more quickly. I do not know how to is what's the time now.
You're at 52 minutes, so plenty time.
I'm sorry.
You have still 15 minutes.
7 minutes.
15.
15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, that's sufficient time. Thank you. I will give you some examples for first one is food security and high efficiency, that is a serious production farm, and wheat maize intercropping, green manure after wheat harvest. Also wheat maize intercropping grass after wheat harvest, forage production system, and high value. That is our extension to farmers recently years. This one is wheat, the maize intercropping. When I started extension intercropping in 1980s, 1990s, 1987, we just extension the wheat maize intercropping. That is a narrow strip intercropping. The 6 rows of wheat, 2 rows of maize, with lead equivalent ratio is about 1.3, 1.4, something like that. But nowadays we want to use this about 2 meters of wheat, 2 meters of maize. It's about 4 meters. So like this, we have wheat earlier, maize longer growth season, and green manure after wheat. So I think this is can show you some. Let me see. Yeah, you can see the wheat can be harvested by this kind of machine, but do not damage of maize. So that is this field is our demonstration to farmers last year and this year. And, we also use fertigation and separated manage of 2 crops, high density of maize, soybean, within row and distance 30 centimeters. And we also use some satellite navigation that keep the strip very straight. Also replating some forage like Sudan grass. Harvest the maize and the grass at the same time and mixed as a silage. But grain of maize was firstly harvested by a big machine. We also added some manure for soil fertility improvement. That is a Y model. You can see the manure. I think this is okay. First one is the manure application. Second one is the wheat sowing by machine. And after wheat emergency, the maize sorted by machine. Also wheat harvest, wheat straws, shredding and forage sorting and mixed harvesting and mixed. So that's all of operation by machinery. I think, yeah, we can see this machine can sow the maize and the soybeans at the same time. Also use some fertigation tubes and fertilization and also much of the plastic film same time. After maturity of wheat, firstly harvest grain of maize, then harvest straw of maize mixture with grass after wheat, that is grow after wheat. We also have this kind of forage production. Use maize, soybean, intercropping, also very large, use the largest machine. That is just this system by legumes and cereals together can increase the protein concentration in silage. We also extension some narrow intercropping. That just most of operation by head, but use very high value crops. For example, fresh pea, intercropping maize, also fresh soybean that can sold in market with a very high price. So I think there is another challenge in field, weeding in intercropping. So we must develop some herbicide that was suitable for two crops, and mechanical weed management required innovative machinery. I think recently I saw some colleagues in Europe and in China use a robot to weeding. So I think that is a good direction for intercropping. Also shading also is one of key issues when legumes are not resistant to shading of tall crops. So that is relative to select existing crop species or variety combination. So also probably for future breeding for intercropping. Also, yeah, that is very important. So I would like to go to the take-home message. Compared to monocultures, intercropping can enhance soil fertility, provide up to 22% more food per unit of land. Intercropping can help increase the year-to-year reliability of crop production in some cases. Previous work has also shown that intercropping can enhance biodiversity of soil organisms and reduce some chemical input and the water pollution. So I think some other courses has already shown that intercropping is I think underused and potential ecological practices for increased soil fertility and crop production and reduce environment harms, while increase farmer profit. Intercropping requires mechanization in all operations, which are ongoing research project in our team. So wide strip intercropping still has a yield benefit, also lower than narrow strip intercropping, crop short season forage crop after the harvest of early season crop can offset the reduction in productivity. Demonstration of wide strip intercropping with a diverse objective, for example, for food and forage security and high values combination, show multiple advantage over monoculture maize for farmers. To further encourage both small household farmers and the large farm to adopt intercropping for sustainable agricultural development, improve the fertigation, cultivar selection, and agronomic management should be oriented. That's all. Thanks for your attention.
Okay. Thank you so much, Long. That was very interesting.